Okay, on this topic, we are going to learn about functions. So, we learn about functions, function declarations, and definitions. We learn argument passing, import arguments, value return, and function names. We also understand function overload and pointer functions. So, functions in C++ are blocks of code designed to perform specific tasks. They are fundamental for organizing code, promoting usability, reusability, and making programs easier to manage. It's also user-defined functions. That's the types of functions. We have user-defined functions. We have standard library of functions. Okay. We have virtual functions. Functions in base classes that can be overridden in derived classes, enabling polymorphism. That's multi-lines. Okay. So we also have functions where the compiler replaces the function for where the functions code potentially, improving performance for small functions. Okay. We have benefit of functions. We have modularity, break down complex programs into smaller manageable units. Reachability. Write code once and use it multiple times. We also have abstraction. Benefit of function abstraction, improve readability. They have function declaration, also known as function prototype. It declares the function's name, return type, and parameters before the function is defined. It allows the compiler to verify correct function calls. Okay, so the syntax is the syntax return type function name, parameter 1, parameter 2. This is an example of the function declaration which you can use in our code. So you can copy this into our code and run it. Sorry, you can copy this into our code and run it, and you see how a function declaration is formed. Okay, see how a function declaration is formed. So let's clean this. Let's clean everything. Then press let's run. Okay, there is a program where they find some. Okay. Okay. Correct this. That's so that's function declaration. Okay. So we have a function definition. Function definition. A function definition is a function declaration with the body of the function is presented. Structure. A function definition includes what? A return type, a name, a parameter list, optional, and the body enclosed in curly braces. Okay. So we have what? The function. We have functions definition structure. So this is an example of the function definition. What? Structure. Then we have the return type. Specify the data type of what? The value of the function return. Use the void if the function doesn't return a value. Function name. And identify that what uniquely names the function. Okay. We have parameters. It input values passed to the function declared with the types and names. Function body contains the code that will execute when the function is called. They have the return statement. It is used to send a value back to the caller, or if return type is not void. And this is an example of we can run this in our text editor, and we are going to get what the function definition of this code. So we'll do a practical example in the next. So we have parameters. So variables in a function definition that receive what argument. So the syntax you can return type name type one. Yeah, this is an example of parameters. Okay. So moving on, we have what arguments. actual what values passed to a function when it's what is called. So this is a syntax function name argument one, argument two. The example was add num 1 to 3. Another argument reference as what argument pointers and argument iris and argument. You have default arguments and this is the syntax. So this is an example of a default what argument. Then we have what function calling. So this is a function, we call it by its name. So allowed by what? Followed by our parameters, any required argument. So this is the syntax. Okay. So function name like an argument one, argument two. So this is function overloading, defining multiple functions with the same name but different parameters. These in cases where there is a need for one function name but different is what in parameters. This is an example of function overloading, case one. Then we have something called this is a function overloading case two. Then we have and that is the end of what functions. Now we go to our text editor and write a line of code on what we are doing. So something let's start with function declaration. Define the function declaration. So let's say we say int find sum. Okay. Let's say a int b. Okay. And close. Then we say let's say let's declare this one. Let's say int name. Then let's say we say cout. So cout, let's say find cout find sum. So 1 and 2. Okay. Then end line. End line. So let's say for instance, we say int find sum. Then we include what? Int a and what? An int b. Okay. An int b. Okay. Then we open a curly bracket. Okay. Then let's see, return a plus b in end argument. Try one the code. Okay, so there is a line of code where I have something wrong, so find a way to let's see. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Sorry. Okay. Now let's run the code to see. Just a classical examination of what the function declaration definitions. So when we added what a plus b, that's 1 and 2, let's give you a 3. That's an example of what partial declaration with definitions. So let us move on to the next. That is user defined. So let's say int add, int first num. Okay, then we say int second num. Okay, then open our curly brackets and we say return first num. Okay, plus second num. Okay, do any argument here. Try to create this as well. So let's say int min, then we say out, let's say add 3 4. CR3 4. Sorry, end line. Okay, then return what? 0. Then run the code. Okay, so there is a problem with our line of code. I'm able to find a solution for it. And the user defined, so let's see. Okay. Try to find where our wrong line of code is. Okay, it's at the first now. It's the first now. It seems this. So we created a parameter. Now we run our code. Okay, let's see out. Okay, so there seems to be a problem here, which we are going to figure it out. Try and run it again. Then we find the solution to it. I think that's still spacing, so let's give some spacing to it. Then we run the code to find the solution to it. Okay, thank you very much.